City builders like Civ and Anno are brilliant fun until you check the clock and realise half your weekends vanished into resource chains and diplomatic drama. But what if those mechanics came in a cozier, snack-sized format? Let Them Trade might just be the indie gem you didn't know you needed. Let Them Trade launched on PC on July 24th for £14.99, and you'll see right away it's styled like a living board game. Zoom out far enough and boom, your world's just chilling on a table. Check that out in the background, there's even a cat. At first glance, it totally reminds me of Civ. We've got hex-based layouts, town development and trading, but it's much cozier. This isn't a game that you need to spend days and days playing. The tutorials are slick and welcoming. So you can see here we start out with tutorial part 1, basics, research and bandits here. And this walks you through, funny enough, the basics of the game. It's done really nicely. So we have our king here who will tell us what to do. And there's a nice sort of story arc there where you're supporting the king and getting the various things that he wants to do in place. So it says learn how to play. And you'll see we get a nice tick system up the top right there telling us how to work. So there's not a lot here I need to tell you because the game does it really, really well. So you can see we had to move the camera there. Then we've got pan forwards with right mouse button there, backwards, etc. And then it just keeps going through. So it takes its time and just make sure you know what's going on. I'm just following up there to see what I need to do. Zoom in, zoom out. You get the idea. Of course, once you know the basic movement things, it goes more into the gameplay mechanics and you will have a lot of fun with that as you go through. The loop's simple but clever. Build settlements, specialize their outputs, link them with roads and grow your network. Let me show you how that works. So first of all, we just create a city center like so. I'm going to create another one over here. And then all we need to do is start thinking about what we want each of these city centers to do. And the idea is that you just create different things in different city centers. So there is some worth to this one and those two trading with each other. So this one we could work on some simple stuff to begin with. We need some houses, so I'll build a couple of peasant houses here. And then the other thing I'm going to do is get this one to focus on food. And any of the green tiles that we've got here can support food. So it can support potatoes or wheat or wool. So I'm going to work with potatoes here because to begin with, we only have some simple things that we can build. This city, we're going to work with wood. So I'm going to build wood to be sorted out here with a lumberjack. And then we're going to have the peasant homes here. So we've got workers that will go in those areas. Whilst that's being built, the other thing we need to do is link these two up so there is a bit of a trade network that is possible. So we go to the basics here and we select one to the other and create a road between the two, which is pretty much instant. I can also link in the castle keep here to make sure that that's there as well. We can fast forward time and you'll see everything is being built there nice and quick, and you can play the game as fast or as slow as you like, so there's no real pressure on you. Nicely as well is that you can pause the game at any point like that, so you can have a good think about how to progress the game. The castle, well, that's your central hub, offering storage, defense and a ton of research upgrades. Start out farming and chopping wood, and then you can unlock the likes of bread, clothing and more advanced tech. There's a satisfying sense of progression here. So to do that, all we need to do is we go to the castle here, and then we can build a research center. And again, we can speed up time to get that built nice and quick, and it will require certain resources. So we need wood here and planks, so we've got those in storage, but we could create a sawmill to help with that. Then we've unlocked our research here, and these are the various different things that you can research and then build in the game. So we start out with the core stuff like the potato farm and the lumberjack, and then we can build things like a fishery, so we can start researching that. That's going to need some planks, so I would need to build the sawmill if we haven't got one already, but we'll get that researched, assuming we've got some planks there. We can then go up through different things, so we've got workers and citizens and aristocrats, and that enables you to build more advanced things. So once you get access to workers, you can start working with tools and start mining iron and coal and gold, and then that can produce more advanced stuff as well, like knights and barracks. We can also have more advanced food like bakery, so we can have bread rather than plain old potatoes. It's all possible. If you have a little look at your cities once they've built up, you can see your workers, and they have needs. You've got to keep them happy or you risk losing them to neighbouring cities. It's really chill on the surface, but there's plenty of tinkering to be done under the hood. So our workers here seem quite happy, and we can have a little think about what else we need to bring in. But basically, if you start bringing in luxury resources, so we can see here this particular peasant has basic needs of wood and potatoes, and luxury needs at the minute of wool and fish, which is all sorted with this trade network that I've got built up here. So we've got fishing going on here, we've got somewhere some sheep being farmed, which I think is possibly, is that my sheep? No, that's a peasant home. Where's my sheep? They're probably exactly where I was already. There's my potatoes. Here's my sheep. Look at them. Aren't they cute? So there we go there. We can see where things are going out as well. The campaign mode eases you into increasingly complex scenarios, but what's great about them is none of them take that long to play, so they're nice to dip in and out of. So we start with the tutorials here, and then I've been working out with these, so we've got ones here. So for example, we could have a little look at party prep, and it tells you what this little campaign objective is. It's time to start preparing for a big event that the king has planned. Build a special warehouse building and fill it with the resources required. That also varies depending on which one it is. So my next one would be a monumental problem. The king has something really special planned, but some spoil sports aren't so keen on the idea. So that's probably one where we're going to need to defend our lands, like we are trained to do with the case of bandits here in tutorial part 3. If you're not in the mood for structured missions, you can spin up a blank map or design your own, which is perfect for sandbox fans. So 2 ways of doing that. You can either work with a template. So if I choose play, there are a bunch of templates already, and it tells you your budgets and how this is all set up. So we've got Twin River Valley, we've got Beach Island, and no doubt I expect we'll see lots more of these over time as the game progresses and the developers help out and add a bit more over time. But you can go into any of these, start the map, and then you don't have the king telling you what to do. You're free just to work with your starting budget and build up an area here with our cities and stuff, similar to what I showed a minute ago. If we now go back to the main menu, the map editor is where you can create your own map if you so wish. So we can create an empty map here, and then we have all these different tiles here. So I could say I want some wood here, and I want a bit of barren land over here, and I just build this out however I see fit, and then I can have a map that I can play however I see fit. So that's pretty cool as well that we've got that ability there, and it'd be interesting to see how players develop their own maps over time. Here's my own little empire from the party prep scenario, and what we can see here is lots of city centres that we've built up here, and they are at various stages of development. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. We've got this city here with 13 buildings in it. We've got 89% happiness at the minute, and I've started working here with lumber being produced by my lumberjacks. We've got all sorts of stuff here. We've also got a quarry producing a bit of stone, and generally you want to be having each thing specialist. So over here, this is my fishing town, so we've got fisheries set up here, which is one of the luxury resources that we need. We've got the castle here with a few buildings around it to help, so we've got the castle keep, and we've got a few different buildings as well here. The pacing to me feels spot on. If you want a relaxed build, you've got it. But if you start optimizing, the game really opens up. So you start thinking strategically. So on this particular campaign, I can only build a few different city centers at the minute, so I've only got 7 max. And one of the things I missed out on was I didn't see this coal resource here, and it's difficult for me to get to that because you need to have buildings next to it or a city center, and each of these cities that we've got can only support so many buildings. So Rainford at the minute can only support 11, and so you need to think about that strategically and have a little look through there. Whilst the game is focusing quite a bit on trade, there are some mechanics for a little bit of combat as well, namely to defend your cities against bandits. So there is a tutorial on this that shows how the bandits work and how you can use your knights to defend the realm. So here we are, we get an explanation of what's going on. So we've got the occasional problem with bandits, a nice little tutorial walking through what we need to do. So we need to train retinue to equip the knight with those, which are forces that will help him defend the realm. So we need to go to research and then go and get a light barracks. So once that is built, we'll be able to train retinue automatically. So I'll fast forward the time here, and you'll see that we are progressing this here nice and quick. It shows us what we need to build it, so the coin and the resources, which we've got, and then we can build that. So if I slow that down for a sec, what we will now have for the castle is the ability to build the light barracks, which I'll do here. Let me just fast forward that like this. and then have that built, and then you'll start seeing that retinue will start getting produced automatically over time. So we get a nice tutorial again, but the retinue there you can see is just being produced as we go. So I'm going to let some of those build up, and then what it will tell me is that I can equip the knight with these. So we can see our knight is up the top here, and we can equip them to him in a minute. So we've got 3 retinue here, so we need 6 though, so we'll just let those carry on being produced, and then we can equip those to the knight. So we'll go to the knight, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've now got those done. I'm just going to slow this down now so we can go and see Big Bad Bob. So we'll go OK, and then press play here, and you can see Big Bad Bob making a run here. So I'm going to grab my knight and then choose guard, and then we'll put that guard over here and see if we can protect the trade route from Big Bad Bob as he comes forward. And you can see we're going into battle against Big Bad Bob, and our retinue are going to make the difference here. We'll fast forward that little bit, and we should see that indeed we did win it. Big Bad Bob makes a retreat, and there's a bandit camp, and we can go and attack that as well if we want. So we can go and grab the knight and say, go and take out that bandit camp. So very similar to camps that we see in the likes of Civ, but they are done very, very cute. So we can see Big Bad Bob with his baddie bandits there. Here comes our mighty knight to do battle with Big Bad Bob, and we see the same sort of thing. And of course, we may win or lose depending on what the forces are like against each other, but in this case I think our knight will do the business. And there you see, we have completed that bit of combat. At £14.99 or £11.99 until July 31st, you're getting solid value. It's surprisingly robust for an indie, and the polish is there. Between the visuals, the clever mechanics, and the versatility of playstyle, it punches well above its weight. So what we've got here is a city builder focused on trade and economic flow with optional combat and exploration. It's chill when you want it to be, but the depth is there. I thought this would be a real gentle post-work game, but now I'm charting multi-town supply networks and fighting off bandits with well-planned production chains. What I really like about the game is the amount of depth here and how quick you can build up your little city centres and interesting game mechanics very, very quickly. So this entire map that we've got here took me, I think, about an hour, maybe not even that, and that's really fun to have this size of network of cities all building up and trading that quickly. So if you're into Civ, Anno, or even Banished, but you want a session that won't devour your schedule, Let Them Trade might be exactly what you're looking for. I've genuinely enjoyed my time in Let Them Trade. It's relaxing without being dull, strategic without feeling overwhelming. I'll definitely dip back in whenever I want to unwind but still engage my brain. Curious if it's for you? Try the demo. Links in the description. And if you want more chilled strategy spotlights or indie gems you've never heard of, hit that like and consider a sub. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments.